Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Inspiration Wednesdays webinar. My name is Lauren Lavelle, and I work in the marketing department here at Trivanis. Today, we have a very special guest with us from eLearning Brothers, Bryce Marshall, who will be showing everyone how to use eLearning Brothers gaming templates in Lectora. So before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. Everyone is on mute during the presentation to cut down on any background noise. And if you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to ask them in the questions box in the GoToWebinar control panel. And we will get to those towards the end of the webinar. And if your questions aren't answered, you can feel free to send an email to info@lectora.com. Also, this webinar is being recorded and it will be posted on our recorded webinars page in just a few days. I'd also like to mention the special promotion that we have going on currently. And it is, if you buy Lectora now, we are going to give you 1 year of access to the entire eLearning Brothers Lectora template library for free. And this is a great deal because the standard price for the template library is $499 per year. Now, you have to act fast because this offer expires on September 30th. And if you have any questions about that during the presentation and would like to talk to someone about that, you can email info@lectora.com and we can get you in touch with a sales rep. Now I'm going to hand it over to Bryce so he can show you how to use the eLearning Brothers game and interaction templates to create some awesome courses. Welcome, Bryce.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, again, my name is Bryce, and I'll show you a little bit on our course starters. This will kind of give us a good introduction to some of the actions and functionality that the games have inside them. So I'll show you here real quick. So we have a bunch of course starters. And why we call these course starters is because they give you a starting point and a backbone to begin your course. So let's view this Lawman course, and yeah, just here, I don't know if you heard that. That was a little intro music. Every page is laid out for you to insert your own comments and images. Here's a course objective, and then here's the content slide. You will no longer need to worry about the look and feel and being consistent with that brand. Simply add in your own text, throw in an image or two, move and copy around slides, and your course is complete. So let's go through this. This is an interaction, another interaction. This was kind of fun to build. It's really a revolver that you're loading up, so it's kind of fun. When you submit it, gives you the correct answer, or sorry, or incorrect. Okay, so that's pretty much that. Today I'm going to go over the Mission Possible course, and show you again. I want to just introduce a few concepts before we get into the game templates, just to kind of help you out in understanding the game templates and how they're built. They are a little complex, and there's a lot of moving pieces throughout the game. So throughout this tutorial, I'll start introducing some maybe new concepts to you guys, or just things that I've been using. Okay, so let's go ahead and look also at this Mission Possible course. Let's see here. So I have it published here in my HTML index. All right. Again, there's some, and now notice here that the next button is not visible at this point. You first have to select. It's going a little slow. Select each folder and passport. Okay. And then when I go back to it, it now appears, and I can move on. Here's another content slide with an image that you can replace. and then interaction, different interaction, and here's another one. And then here comes into the game. This game gives you a type of a Jeopardy fill. We call it game show. But in this Mission Possible course, I took our game show piece that you find in our library, and let me show you that really quick. So if we go to Activities, Lectora Games, we have a few games up here. We're planning on putting quite a few more. These are all Lectora based. There's no other other type of insert or anything other than pure Lectora. So this is how the game show piece looks. So if we go into here, you will see, I'm going a little slow here, I apologize. This is how the game show was when I first imported it into my starter course. Okay, so you get that idea, and then once you're done, it kicks you off to a results slide, and I'll show you that here. Let's see, game quiz. Okay, so again, we get the multiple response, completely new, different images, completely new feel here. When I imported it in here, I made a few modifications to it, replacing images. I'll show you what it looks like when I get a wrong answer. It pops up this red mark here. Also, it totals up my points. On my total points, I got 200, 700 total. I have the ability to make it a multiple response, true and false, or multiple choice questions, and then it gives you the result right here. And I was able to make it so that I have the user only go through 5 questions. I could have them go through all 20 questions, or even I could even delete some of those screens and only have them have a certain amount that they can choose from. Let's see, there's a question here. Since this is all Lectora, will the text be exported to the RTF doc for translations? You know, I'm not familiar with the RTF doc. I'm not sure what that is, but I can show you in a little bit how these are all Lectora text boxes, and if these, I mean, yeah, if that translations works in any other text box that Lectora has, then yeah, it should. So it says, so another question, the Jeopardy-like game as an interactivity was Flash-based. Is the activity that you're bringing into Lectora still Flash-based, or are all of the actions based in Lectora no Flash? So yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. There's no Flash in here. It's all Lectora based. So when you publish it out with Lectora, excuse me, I have a little dry throat here. When it's published out in Lectora, it has all the limitations and the abilities that Lectora will have. So yeah, you can export it out as HTML5, Flash, however you want. All right, and so that ends up, and there's our conclusion slide. Throw in a few custom images, text, and you're done. All right, and so yeah, let's go through how I did this. Now to start out, I've been just starting to use this external CSS script. I labeled it HTML object, but it's actually CSS script, and has been pretty valuable in just showing clients or demonstrating on a web browser the actions and what it will look like at the end result in an LMS. I'll show you what I mean. Let's see. I'm just reading another question. Be sure to show us how we can navigate to these all Lectora games on our the ELB website. For sure, I'll definitely do that. Here, I'll do that right now. So if we go here, we go to the activities, and then Lectora games, and then that's where they're at. And I'll show you a quick view into all of these games in just a little bit. but that's them there. Now, now this CSS style sheet has just a simple text in there, or a simple bit of code. So for those, some of you might not know CSS, and some of you might know CSS very well. But for those of you that are new to it, HTML and CSS are the two core technologies for building web pages. HTML provides the structure of the page, and CSS provides the visual layout or design. So that's a little way of knowing which ones are which. So when I put this bit of code in, it is referring to the HTML and selecting all the divisions that are labeled as div. Now all my div elements will have this property, and what I'm asking it to do is basically anything that's outside of the width and height of everything that's labeled div will be hidden. So yeah, let me show you what that looks like. So if I go right into the introduction, throw in, say, a transition, fly in. Let's fly in from the right. Okay, and let's go ahead and take this off first. Let's delete that. View. And when we view it, you'll see the logo come out on the side here. I'll show you exactly what I mean here. You might have came across that same problem. When we put it into an LMS, that problem will not happen. But while you're viewing it in an HTML view, it's nice to just show as a little demo for your clients, or just throw up on a web server to see exactly how it's going to look. So when I put it back in, I insert an HTML extension, go to Properties. This is a cascading style sheet. That's CSS. That's what that stands for. And then I have this external file sheet, again, overflows.css. And again, that's that same bit of code, just a little tiny, but it's super powerful, just kind of helpful. And I'll show you again how that will look with that. So now, when that Mission Possible logo comes in, you don't see it over here. And that's pretty much it. All right. And then as we get into the background, I love how we have this. It's super easy to be able to adjust the color of the course and the real look and feel for it. This background is a transparent PNG image that goes from black to transparent, and so I can change that background color very easily by coming in up to the title level, going to color, and I can change it. Say my color for my company is orange, so I might want to change it to orange, or let's make it a little darker there. And so now I have a complete different look, and I want to make these mask colors that same color as well. Or if you want white, that's fine too. But now pressing F12 will refresh all those and bring all the layers that are supposed to be in front visually in front. So when I press F12, that's what that did. And now I have a completely new colorized course. All I need to do is change the colors on these as well if you'd like. So that's how you do that. Let's go ahead and change that back to that blue color. So the HTML color first, and then go into Properties, Fill Color for the mask layers. Okay. There's another question that came in. Any templates that are section 508 compliant? We just received access and we'll explore these soon. You know what? That's a good question. We haven't built them specifically for 508, but I love the way that Lectora has their 508 options, because it's very easy to implement the 508 inside any type of text box that comes straight from Lectora. So there's an easy way to transition if it's not already. So that's, I guess, the answer to it. We haven't tested for it, but I imagine it would be very easy to change. Okay, and then so that's kind of how that will look. That's how you can change the background colors. But one thing that I forgot to mention is how I came up with this look and feel. We first have to put it into just a graphic development, and here at eLearning Brothers we do have an awesome graphic designer that really saves me in a lot of different areas. And this is what he will give me when I first start one of these starter courses, or even a game template or anything else. He'll give me something that will look like this. Let's see here. Okay, so this kind of gives you a little bit of a look into what he gives me. So no text, but some text boxes, different ways I can create scenarios, ways I can fade people out, just different ideas. Excuse me, my throat is dry. Different ideas for me to go off of. Okay. And the buttons give me buttons, but it's kind of up to me to place them where I want and come up with a skin to my course. Okay, and so I love also how Lectora has these. Let's see if I can do it. What's happening here? It's not wanting to pull that up. Problem with shortcut. No. Okay. Mission Impossible. Oh, it's working now. So, no. Here we go. Okay, so Lectora gives you standard theme options, right? And these are nice because you can change the page size and it will adjust to that page size. All these buttons and everything will adjust to that page size. I like to use the standard size, just a preference that we go towards. However, I wanted to give the users something that they don't already have, and so these are really nice. But we also have in our library, let's see here, in our library, skins, player skins that go right into Lectora. So just show you how I download this. Let's log in real quick. How I download this, I go to the player skin that I want, right? You saw all these player skins. I chose this one. I select the installer, the exe file. Now, your computer might have, depending on what you're running on, but it might have some kind of warnings that will pop up, etc., that your computer might not like. So say, for instance, this. It's just giving me a warning. It might be dangerous, but let's go ahead and keep it. Once it downloads, let's go ahead and open it. It'll give me another warning. Say more information, run anyway. Now this will run a installer and a setup. And so once that's all complete, it will automatically place it up into every one of your new every one of your Lectora files, these custom themes up here. So then, in my, I clicked on Skype. That will open up. Now, in every one of your new templates, you can put in this new custom theme that you downloaded from our website. And again, this gives you the ability to change your size, and the buttons will change with it. So that was nice. I'm not changing it in my something to note. I'm not changing it into my into this course because I did change a few of those buttons that did come with it If you notice there was orange buttons before, it will kind of mess that up if I change it up here. So, but if you keep with it and just change these player or top level items, it will be just fine. It just works just great. Okay, and so that's how that went. That's how I came up with this theme and this look and feel. All right, let's go ahead and take that transition off before I forget. Then moving into objectives, I made this to come in, so the shade box comes in first, and then every one of these objectives would come in after the shade box finished its transition. As you notice, there's a transition on it. So on show means not when the transition begins, but when the transition ends of this shade box. So when it's fully shown, then I want to show objective 1 and then objective 2, and I like to do it this way and putting my delay in these actions rather than putting it in my transitions here, because you can place a new a delay item or number of seconds on here, but I like to have it in here. It's a little easier for me to manipulate in there. Okay. So how this is something to note. This is a big a big key to note for the games going on, the way I displayed this next button. Okay, so first off, I have this folder and this passport, and the folder and passport will add on a value to a variable, and this variable is labeled. This is the number of the template number. See how we have numbers for each one of our templates. That's what that number is referring to. So when you see those numbers, it's just referring to a template number. And then it's saying slides viewed for this template number. And that's that variable. I add A2 to that variable every time I click this variable if it's not already in there. So I don't want to keep adding it, but once it's in there, I want it to be in there and not keep adding it. Okay, and then again in passport I have the same thing, but I add A3 to it. Now this next button will show when the page is shown, because I have this as initially hidden. I'll have this show the next button if slides viewed contains A1. Now A1 is only going to be placed in this slides view if A3 and A2 are placed in there as well. So if it contains it, once the slide is viewed or shown, place an A1 inside the this variable if A3 and A2 are contained inside that variable, and not if A1 is, because I don't want to keep adding A1 time and time again. I just want it once and be done. Okay, and so that's something to know. I have been using that in the game templates, so that's a good way to use variables in adding a letter value rather than a number value to a variable, and then call for those variables and see if A1 or that number or that letter, if that letter is inside that variable. Okay. So that's how you move on through those. Again, here comes the content slides. Very simple to edit text, replace images. Actually, I'll show you how to replace images in the interactions. If you don't know this already. One way I really enjoy having our interactions is having the interactions contents inside a group. So basically what I mean, when you click or select this button, it will then view one of these groups. So, so what I can do with that is I can then say I want two text boxes in this button here. So I want content new text in here, and I want to delete some of this here, okay? Just so that I can see that. Or I could throw a new image in here, whatever you want, okay? And then every time I'll select this text one button, it will then view both those text boxes, and that's how that works. I really like how that's done. Another simple way we've tried to modify these text boxes, or excuse me, these interactions, is by simply adding in different text or new text on the buttons themselves. Sometimes we will use buttons that will have text inside of an image, so then you could use right inside insert a button, you could use custom button and use actual images with text inside them already. So instead of using it this way, we've used a three layer button basically. So the first layer is the graphic itself, and that's that right there. The second layer is the text, which you can modify. That's completely Lectora text, and then a transparent button right here. And this will then control the change when you hover over. So when you hover over this button, graphic 1, tab 1 graphic will then change to the over state of the button, and then go through all these different types of actions. Hide content, hide tab content group, which this is also something to note that I use in the games as well, is when I have a hide action, I like to hide everything first. So this hides everything that I would have opened. Tab 1 group, tab 2 to tab 6 contents, right? Even though when I'm selecting this button here, I'll probably only have one of them viewed, or one of them viewed. I'll just go ahead and hide all of them using this action group, and then show whatever I want to show, if that makes sense. And then click, and then one more thing I wanted to show you: exit, return to the up if it does not contain an A. If it does contain an A, I want it to show the down state, right? So so I want to have the selected state if it has been selected. So if it's been selected, right up here, where is it? Modify variable. This variable will add in an A to that variable, and then it will tell this, say, hey, this was selected. So when we exit out of this mouse-wise, when we exit our mouse out of this, I want to change it to the down state rather than the up state, or the selected state, right? And then again, when you click it, it just changes to down. So this way makes it really simple for us to change these button images. So say I want, let's go into our folder structure here, Lectora Mission Possible, and then inside here we have an images folder, right? And so these three images are responsible for outputting or displaying each one of these each one of these buttons here, each one of the 6 buttons. So say I want the up button to be something different. I want it to be, let's go to my assets, and let's make it this button here. I already renamed it, but let's go ahead and do that. So I just simply, oops, it's going to open in Photoshop. Simply add it in. Yeah, I know. Sorry. I added in the the image name, right? And then I can copy this image, come back over into my image folder, and then paste and replace that image for this new image. Now this will be a little skewed because it is a different size, so you do have to worry about that. But just for sake of showing the idea of this is that it changes every instance of when that button or that image was displayed. So yeah, again, you would have to make sure it's the right size. So that's one caveat to that. Let's go ahead and replace that. I already made a copy of that button, so I wouldn't lose it. And replace that file. And again, back to the original image. So that's how that works. So do keep that in mind as well, to be able to change these images for the buttons as we go on into the game. Okay. So as we come into the game, as you remember, from the original activity, Lectora Games, here's the game show. It had these screens displayed in it. I didn't want that same look. I wanted more of a futuristic, a Mission Possible look to it. And so I came up with a new type of screen. And just like I replaced that button in the interactions, I renamed my an image that or named the new image the exact same name as the previous screen image was named, and I made sure it was the same size and everything. So so it transitioned really nicely that way. Okay. So as we get into the game, let me just show you how you can how the user would use this game, and how easy it is for the user to use this if they were to use it as a template. So first off, all they need to do is come in here and say, hey, I want to have the user use all 20 questions. So you need to add in for cues possible. I also labeled it in bold letters here. Change for number of questions used, right? I want them to use all 20 questions. So put in the 20 right there. And then this is the point value for each row. So you change the variable here, the variable number here, and then also the displayed, the visual number in each one of these as well. Again, coming back to that 3-layer system of the buttons, I have, again, the image, like I was saying before. All I did was replace that one image, and it replaced all 20 of these. Excuse me. And then we have the text. So then we have the text, and then the buttons I placed in a different group. I placed that in a different group because I am constantly hiding and showing this game board piece. But I'm also, with other actions behind the scenes, with other actions, I'm hiding each one of these buttons every time I click on it. So when I click on it, it hides, and I can't click on it again. But I want to be able to toggle this whole game board piece on and off without affecting without affecting the view of the buttons. So that's why I put them in 2 different groups. Okay. And I'll show you that a little bit later. But let's get back to how the user would display or use this course. So first they would change the number of questions and change, if they want, the points here. Okay, and then it's just as simple as, let's hide those, and then I have this action group. That action group that has all of my images. And so every time I display a question, I then have a new group for the text, the buttons, and things like that. So all the user has to do is come into, say, column A, row 1, and if that makes sense with the game board piece, it would be column A, right, row 1. That would be the first one at the top left, most left, column A, row 1. And they would then select here what question they want, or which answer here they want to be the correct answer, and you can choose it here. So it would be A, B, C, D is how it's used, and so the correct answers here are C and D. So with a multiple response, you also have to put the MR in it as well, and that signifies or specifies that it's a multiple response, and also I want it to show the submit button. Okay. So all the user has to worry about is if they want it to be a multiple response, just put in comma MR, right? If they want it to be a multiple choice, they just put one letter in, and C is the correct answer. If they want it to be a true and false question, they put comma 2 in it, and then only 2 answer choices will display. If they want 3, then this is the last option. If they want 3 options, they'll put comma 3 in there. And it's really that simple. All they need to do is change that if they want a new type of question, or if they want a new answer choice that is the correct one. So it was D, comma, MR. And I have a tutorial on this for when people do download this game piece. They'll know exactly how to modify that. Okay, so when you have those changed, all you need to do is change the text for the question, and then the answers here, and really that's it. That's all you have to do. If you want less, game pieces, it's just a matter of deleting. The easiest way I thought for this game board is to actually delete the game board pieces themselves. And when you delete any item, you won't have any problems with running into the code breaking or anything. All you need to do is delete out the buttons here. If you want to delete all category E, just delete those. Make sure all E's are deleted here, right? E. All E's are also deleted in here as well. E's and E's. Or if you want to do the bottom row, same type of method. Okay, and so I hope I'm loud enough for everybody. My voice is a little scratchy. All right, so let's see what is next. So let's go ahead. So that's exactly what you need to do. There's no for the user end. There's no other thing that you need to worry about. All the coding is done for you. But let's go ahead and show you how I built this. And again, I just want to reiterate, it is a little confusing. It's confusing for me to even talk about it and try to explain it. But yeah, I feel like this is the easiest way for you to copy and paste it into a different course or modify it for yourself. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and try to show you how I did this. Okay, so when you first select, say, A1, so when you first select this button, it runs an action group. And that action group is this one right here. Simply click hide again. Remember, I was toggling on and off this game board piece. Hide all the game board pieces, and show the question group. Let's see. Somebody did ask, did sound go away? I also heard somebody just say, we can hear you fine. Again, I hope everybody can hear me just fine. Okay, so there we go. All right. So, okay, let's get back to here. So then it shows the question group. And that question group, again, if you remember, it is just these the images that are displayed for each question. All right, and then each button will then also show, so I have a full function that happens for each one of these buttons, so I don't have to continue to replace 3 of these actions in each one of them, because they're the exact same for each one of these buttons. So that's why I did that. It just makes it a little easier for me. And then I want to show the specific group, column A, row 1, change also the screen idle A to a small screen over. So if I enter into that, so let me show you real quick. So if I enter into this, I want to show a hover over state of this. Pressing F12 again, it will refresh the visuals. It will show a hover state for these screens here, right? And then on the exit, change back to the idle. Okay, and then let's go down into the column A group, column A row 1 group. When this is viewed, the first time it's viewed, it will show, or it will hide, because this is the reasoning behind this, is I will show the whole group, but then I want to select the ones that I want to hide. So I want to hide the submit button if this A1, it does not contain an MR, which stands, remember, for multiple response. Okay. So so in here, the A1 variable is set right here. The users will reset that, and if it contains MR, it will then not hide the submit button, and you can then select the submit button. Let's view these items while we're talking about it. Okay, pressing F12 again, refresh visuals. Super helpful. And then again here, so if this A1 variable contains a 3, I want to do a different action. I want to run this action group, A1 3 answer choices, and that's right down here. A1 3 answer choices, and this will hide all 3 of those layers of that button. So hide answer button, the actual button of the D right here, and that's this one. Hide the text, which is right, or excuse me, the button was right here, right? And then the text was right here, and then the image was right here. So again, with these buttons, there's 3 layers to those buttons, and it hides each one of those 3 layers, giving the user not letting the user be able to select on that. Just simply that. And then again in here, if A1 contains a 2, then it will run this action group, and it will hide all 3 of these all layers of this button, and all the layers of this button. So C and D. Okay. And then it comes into here. So when we select the actual buttons, we're getting again these mouse over, changing contents of the image. It's just the same as before. Changing it to up if on exit, changing it up to up if it's empty. If it's not empty, it will change it to the selected version. Okay, and let me show you what I do with that. So each time one of these columns, column A row 1, every time it will be viewed, it will then reset these answer A through D variables. So I'm using these same variables for each one of these question items. And then it will then, when I select answer A button, it will add in an A, comma, if it is empty. But if it is not empty, it will set it to empty. So it kind of just toggles it back and forth to call a comma to empty every time you select it. And then that kind of gives you the option to deselect if you already have it selected for your multiple response. Then it will, if, let's see here. So if it does not contain an MR, so if it's not a multiple response, and if it does contain an A, it will run the correct action group. If it is not a multiple response and it does not contain an A, it will run the wrong action group. So each one of these answer choices will have that option in there. Okay. And let me try to hurry this through. We're running on time here. So that's kind of how that works. And again, back up here, that's what that was referring to. Remember, the answer A, if it is empty, change it to the up. If it is not, change it back to the selected when we exit out of the button. Okay. Now, so then it will go to those correct or incorrect action groups if it's not if it is not a multiple response. But if it is, then it's reliant up to the submit button to choose whether it goes to the incorrect or the incorrect or the correct action group. Okay. So how I did that was I just simply had an answer total variable. And it then, when I click submit, it added up answer A, answer B, answer C, answer D, and then also added in an MR variables, so that when I select here A1, if it is equal to what we set, if it is equal to what the user set up here, right, with the MR and everything, it will then view the, let's go back to here. So if all of that is met, then it will run action group correct, and if it's not met, it will run action group wrong or incorrect. Okay. And then going down into here, the correct and incorrect action groups. Let's go through those. I had a variable that added A1 to the correct cues. Let's see. I used that somewhere. Where did I use that? I can't remember. I'll probably remember that in a minute. Let's keep going down and we'll figure out where that's from. And then the number correct, I just added a number to the number correct to get my percentage on the results slide. So number correct, change contents, screen idle, right? So this then made my screen on my game board piece to be the correct image. So that's what that action does. So change screen to correct, show feedback, and then add the points that I submitted up here, that I created up here. So this was row 1 points. Add a row 1 points to the game score variable. Play correct audio, right? And then let's go down here real quick. And then display, set the bank to that game score variable. So I'm adding, every time I get a correct answer, adding the points that I get in each row, each one of the specific rows, to this game score variable, and then displaying it here in that in the correct spot there. Okay. And then each one of these action groups will add questions answered. So that again then just gives me the ability to have a percentage at the end of the results slide. Questions answered, divided by the correct answers, and then that kind of gives you your percentage. Numbers correct. So then, and then it hides all my answers and does that. And then so this kind of gives, it's going through the incorrect action group. Change incorrect screen, right? So it changes the screen from the game board pieces to the incorrect screen, the red screen. Shows feedback, plays incorrect noise or music, adds a question, displays the score, which I really don't need that one, to be honest, and then runs hide answers. So I hide all these answers. Okay. So that's kind of how I built it. Once I built one question, I simply copied and pasted it, and it came along with a lot of the actions were already all set up for me, and I didn't really have to change much after I copied and pasted it. But let's show you the feedback real quick. Here we go. We have about 10 minutes left. Show you feedback. Press F12. Okay, and then in the feedback, I have on show. So when I show this group, or when I show this text box, really, it will change the contents of the text box to correct, or whatever you want, correct or incorrect, if, oh yeah, that's where I put this variable. So if Q's correct equals or contains an A1. So if you remember here, Q's correct A1. So if that has it in there, then I have here saying correct or incorrect in your text box. Okay, and so that's pretty much it. And then this just hides and shows and runs an action group. Continue. Again, I have an action group for each one of the continue buttons because they all do the same thing. Play a click, hide click volume, or excuse me, click noise, hide question group, and then this one here, I'll show the game board piece, or if it's done, show the done piece here. So if questions answered now equals the questions possible, it will do this. If it's less than, it will do this action. Okay, so that's that. So then let's just go down. All we need to do is go to the done piece, and then which is pretty simple. And we'll be finished. Let's hide these so we don't get too confused. Press F12. Oh, we got something viewing here. Column A, row 1, feedback. Okay, and so now when we view or when we show group done, we want to ask a few questions. Is this passed or is this failed? So we can change the if statement here for the pass percentage, what we want the user to pass with. So this is set at 80, but we could put whatever we want, 90, 95. We would just have to change the text box here to correlate with that if statement there. Okay, and so so then this says simply run action group passed if it is if it's over, greater or equal to this 80 number, or run, if not, run the action group fail. Okay, so then it just hides the on pass, it will hide the failed groups, failed items, and on fail it will hide the passed items. So that's pretty much how it goes. And then the nice thing about this is that you could either contain or keep the next button, right? So you could keep the next button on this game quiz. So if you want to advance whenever you want, you can. Or if you want to go in here and say, hey, I don't want the user to advance until they get all of it correct. So get rid of this next button, exclude it, press OK. Now in this game show, or this game piece, it will not have this next button, but the only way you can advance is by using the continue button. And the continue button only shows, again, if you pass. So that's kind of how that works. All right, so that kind of concludes it there. We have about 5 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions? Let's while you're thinking about questions, let's go through real quick the other game pieces that we have in our library. So first off, let's go to Lectora starters, and I'll show you real quick. We saw Lawman. Let's go to this comic feel. And see that? I need to put that in our course, that CSS, if you remember, the hide overflow. I really just started doing that. So I need to put that hide overflow in this course, this demo course too. It'd make it look a little nicer. So I really like this one. This is just kind of video. But I really do like this course. I love the new animations that Lectora has. They've given you a lot more accessibility for different kind of animations. See how it bounces back and forth when it comes in. Stuff like that. Okay. And then I made a simple interaction or a quiz section, correct choices. And then I passed. Great job, you did it. Okay. So a lot of these games, I really like Millionaire. I want to show you that one. A lot of these games have that same functionality that we saw in that mission course. So again, I had the ability to change this to a multiple response, true and false, whatever I want. Here, if I get the wrong answer, I can say, oh, I need to do a hint. Let's do correct answer. Okay, great. Awesome. Incorrect. Oh, I gotta do another hint. 20 falls. Kind of get the idea. Let's go all the way to the end, and I'll show you. And then money falls from heaven. So that's kind of how that works. Congratulations, you got through it. If you didn't win and you used up all your hints, then it kicks you off to this page, but doesn't give you this congratulations and the money. It just says try again. So that's how that works. Delivery, this is another one I really like. Just I love these new animations. Again, they're just fun. This with the this variable here, if you remember, you can set the cues possible. I made that same variable in here, but then when you set that cues possible, it'll then hide anything over the number that you set it to. So you only have the possibility of selecting 10 if you have cues possible equal 10 or whatever you want, right? Okay, it's in displays 1. If I get it wrong, it doesn't give me a right, but it says wrong. Okay. Multiple response, again, same functionality that's used. Let's just finish this off, almost done. And then it does that. Okay? Kind of fun. This is the other one that we just created was Casino. It's basically a true and false. Nothing more than that. So you get a score, you get the number of questions that you're going to be doing. I'm on the 4th question, 10 out of 10. I can increment these scores however much I want. Things like that. Let me just make sure I don't have any questions here that are outstanding. And yeah, the game score can be captured in an LMS. You can set up the LMS variables, right? You need a add in a assignable unit, and then you just add in that variable to the assignable units. And to be honest with you, again, we haven't tested that much, but I know it's possible for sure. Yeah, you can do that. All right, let's see. Since all of this is Lectora based, that's the reasoning why I'm sure you could be able to do it with scoring to the LMS. Sound go away. I tested the sound. It works. I'm not hearing anything anymore. Lectora. Okay, I think I answered all the questions here. Or let's see. Why is the Millionaire game 2 MB for Lectora Online versus 9 MB for Lectora 11? Okay, so what you're asking here is Millionaire. That's just the size. So in the package, that's how it's exported out in the Lectora Online versions. I'm pretty sure that's what you're referring to is just the size here. So when you download it, that's what that size is, and that's what the size is for the online version. All right. Can HTML5 games be used in Lectora also? Yes, definitely. We have a list of HTML5 games, HTML5, and yeah, you can add them in. Why we've been doing Lectora native games is just because there has been a lot of customer service questions with importing these into Lectora and other tools, really. And so just to kind of go around having complications with that, we've been trying to do it more natively. But yeah, it's definitely a possibility for sure. All right.
Okay,
So yeah, I think that covers it.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Bryce. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. And again, if you have any questions about the eLearning Brothers template library, please email info@lectora.com and we will be sure to get an answer for you. Again, thank you so much, Bryce, for presenting on this today. And we will see everyone at the next Inspiration Wednesday webinar.